January has been only a couple of weeks in, and it is crazy how many new games are coming our way, regardless of your usual go-to genre. I mean, I've already made up 2 lists this past few weeks for new games. However, if you want even more, here's about 20 more offline and online games ready to go for your Android and iOS devices as well. Let's go.
How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the
Team Racing 4v4 Squad Mode.
At number 1, sitting on the Play Store worldwide as of only a week ago in case you missed it, we've got over here finally caught Rider Drift out of its pre-registration state and early access phase and taking you down about 800 megabytes of space as a fully free-to-play online and offline kart racer. It's an online game though mostly because the offline section comes in tutorial and a few mods to just practice through. This is how the game really looks. However, it's actually still being fine-tuned to take care of a few major bugs, but if I had to say so myself, the game's quite fine-tuned already. Make sure to check this one out.
Again soon.
Coming up behind that, we've got over here Ultimate Fighting. As you might have guessed, just a fighting game and all the way online one in nature. This game's actually been out as a fully free-to-play game since last month, and for those of you familiar, it's actually from the same developers of the famous Final Fighter on the Google Play with over 1 million downloads since last year. This game's got one problem, other than that, it is amazing. The problem though is that it's got a lot of ads. However, I've heard that it is playable offline and it's got a ton of characters to play with. Moving on to number 3, we've got Spider Train Survival Shooter. This is a legitimately cloned Choo Choo Charles mobile port sitting on the Play Store with over 100,000 downloads since only 2 days ago. This is crazy for a mobile game, and I'm not entirely sure, but if you like what you see here, this game's actually playable offline. If you cannot afford the PC game released a couple of weeks ago, this game has every single part of the original game just tuned down and delivering pretty good in nature. Sitting on the Play Store with over 1 million downloads and a 4.4 out of 5 since only a few months ago. We've got over here, and I've never mentioned this one before, Vortex 9. This is a easy recommendation for all of you online tactical first and third person shooting fans. Something with the premise of a battle royale and a tactical game like Battlefield games, and all out in a cel shaded graphic. Game's legitimately well made, it's all the way free, fine-tuned to perfection, and very, very rewarding in nature. Number 5. I've actually never mentioned this one before either, and I don't even know why. However, since its release, this game's been one of the most praised offline games on the Play Store and definitely a win for players rather than the developers. Here's the thing, if you have ever enjoyed a Warhammer game's aesthetic, universe into strategy, action, tactical shooters, magic and metal, over here delivers all of that on a top tier with a legitimately enjoyable pace. It's rewarding as hell, and like I mentioned, it's free, and this is how it really looks. Sitting on TapTap, not any TapTap, but China's TapTap. However, it is actually available somehow worldwide, ready to download and working on every single device as far as I'm concerned, and I don't even know how. We've got over here Song of the Sword. Guys, if you want to play this one, just make sure to use the link down in the description. This is, if I had a choice, would be the number 1 game or recommendation in the list today. It's probably the most exciting action, slasher, and a fighting game in AI on the whole platform. This is how it really looks, how it works, game is free, and also playable offline. At number 7, guys, not available on the Google Play though, worldwide just yet, but you can use the link down in the description for a free version of this game if you like what you see, and it's actually playable offline. We've got over here from last week something called Micro Survivor. This is just an indie developed, just a tuned down version of the game Grounded that came out about 6 months ago as a Microsoft exclusive. It is an action sandbox adventure in which your main goal is to survive. Check it out in case you missed it, this game is also free. Moving on, we've got over here Static Shift Racing. This is actually the first job of a pretty good racing mobile game developer as an online/offline open world racing driving sim. Quite a bit a test drive and a Need for Speed game mixed together. This is just a quick mission in case you missed out on the announcement last week. The game is available in its pre-registered state. You can play this one without any problem. It'll be coming out worldwide, and this is how it really looks. Activity Horror Multiplayer, on the other hand, came our way roughly 2 weeks ago, and it is now sitting on the Play Store as a fully offline horror shooter, mostly with a 4.6 out of 5, and this is how it really looks in gameplay. Nothing much to talk about with this one, to be honest. I haven't played this one myself. All I can tell you is that the game is from the same developers of the horror game No Rest, which is a masterpiece of an offline game, and this is how it really looks. At number 10 from last month, in case you missed it, we've got over here Kung Fu Karate, sitting on the Play Store with over 50,000 downloads ever since and a 4.6. Now, I don't care if you're into fighting games or not, KFK over here is one of the best offline free games of the year, sitting on the Play Store for free for some reason, taking you down for only 50 megabytes of space initially. Game's delivering one of the best, in some ways actually even better than the second game we mentioned, which was a fighting game Ultimate Fighter, and this is how it really looks. Now guys, pretty sure you've seen one like this before. However, if you're new to the specific mix of a voxel-based multiplayer shooter, technically a Minecraft but made in a way to feel like a PUBG/Warzone game, we've got over here something called Pixel Wars. Pixel Wars actually been out for a month now and is downloaded only 1,000 times, which is a bummer, to be quite frank. It's actually quite sad for such a game, for such a mix. Game's free, quite legitimate in experience, rewarding and smooth. Just make sure to check it out in case you missed it. Don't mind the trailer, guys. We've got over here actually the only gameplay footage I could find on YouTube that's legitimately describing the game. We've got at number 12, in case you missed it, Madman and Monsters. This is a puzzle adventure sort of thriller with strategy, merge, and RPG elements. Just in case you missed it, this game's free all the way, it's playable only online, and if we're talking addiction, well, this one's right up there with heroin. Moving on. Coming up behind that at number 13, we've got from October last year. I don't know why now, but I think it's definitely worth a mention since I've never talked about this one. We've got Drone 5 Elite Zombie Fire. This is an action, mission-based sort of tower defense zombie shooter about you're letting just the drones do all the hard work as you do mostly managing stuff. Now, believe it or not, this game's the work of the same developers of WWE Mayhem, with over 10 million downloads on the Play Store. It's free, playable offline, and it is very, very fun to play in nature. At number 14, we've got something called Epic Ape Madness. Guys, this is an open world, or technically sandbox survival RPG shooter, pretty much like the old-time famous State of Decay games, albeit in an MMO format. And yes, you actually do play as a monkey who's basically last standing the ape race. Here's some of the gameplay to see if it's by any means your thing. Game is playable only online. And truth be told, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this one. Game's huge in content and pretty engaging in story. At number 15, we've got from half a month ago over here. An action zombie shooter, sort of survival sandbox, and to some extent strategy game over here called The Survival Days. A free, once again offline game, but you can actually play this one online, watch a few ads, and get a ton of upgrades for free. And have just much more fun as you go. Honestly, the game's crazy addicting, hella fun, pretty easy to get the hang of, to go about stages, and over actually 300 stages to play through. So keep it in mind. Sitting on a Play Store with 100,000 downloads and a 4.6 out of 5. We've got over here Party Beasts. Halfway a Fall Guys meet an action top-down. Because this is actually everything you like about Fall or Stumble Guys, about with less mini-games and a different just camera or just angle system, which is honestly one of the more legitimate efforts I've seen for an entire year for that specific genre. Game's free, taking you down for only 80 megabytes of space, and it is very, very, very fun to play. It's also bug free if you're just wondering. Got no bugs. Moving on to number 17, although been out for only a month now, downloaded over 1 million times on the Play Store. We've got Street Dude. This is a sandbox adventure, like building and managing action game. Just a pretty interesting concept that once you get the hang of, you'd be quite amazed at how engaging it could be. It's free, online is a big problem though. Game has a ridiculous amount of ads and it is not playable offline, so you're gonna have to just bear up with that problem. Other than that, the game's quite fine and this is how it really looks. Now, here's the thing guys, I probably shouldn't make this video into a horror games list, but I promise you this is the last horror game in case you have a thing for them. We've got over here from only 72 hours ago, sitting on the Play Store with only 1,000 downloads, a survival horror puppy playtime inspired just survival horror game called Garden of Banban NIGHTMARE. This game is to some extent just a walking simulator rather than a horror game, but the bright side of the things is that the game's actually playable offline, and honestly it just looks pretty cool as well. So yeah. Moving on at 19, we've got from also roughly 72 hours ago here once again, something called Alien Attack Galaxy Shooter. Here's the thing guys, I've actually mentioned the game quite a bit exactly like this one a couple of days ago, but quite more advanced in graphics compared to this one, so if this is your thing, make sure to check out my previous video. But in any case, this is a bullet hell flying shooter and a free offline game as well. It's pretty casual, but nothing short of amazing. Game's level based, got bosses to fight, and quite challenging as well. And last but not last, we've got over here the Last. This is a party-based knockout, just ragdoll competitive multiplayer. I mean, you know the drill, is just Fall Guys, but an indie version of that with a few different minigames to take your time with and probably spend a few hours somewhere other than Fall or Stumble Guys. Check it out, game's free and taking you down for only 70 megabytes of space. Yeah.